Hello, welcome back to this channel or welcome to this channel. My name is Jackie and I'm obsessed with planners, journals, and Hobonichis, and I don't even have to say that. Today I've decided to come here with something that I have never done before, which is a more generic overview of the Hobonichi Techos. And since I've been using them since 2017, I thought maybe I have a little bit of experience with the Hobonichis and I can share a little bit of what I know about them, even though of course I don't know every single thing, but maybe this will be helpful for you. At least I hope so. So here I have basically all of the Hobonichis that are available on the website. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to do a video like this. So if you want to see that, just keep watching. Before we start, I just want to say that it was a lot of work and a little bit time consuming to film this video. So if you are feeling generous, please leave me a like or consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. And here are some timestamps. I will also leave them down in the description box because I value your time and you don't need to keep hearing me talking throughout a lot of time. I will start with a brief presentation of the brand, sharing with you what I know about it, which is not much, but I will share it anyhow. Then I will give you an overwhelming overview of the different layouts that you can find in Hobonichi planners. After this overwhelming overview, we will move on to the A6 size planners, and I will talk about the original in its two versions and what they call the planner. Then we will talk about the Hobonichi cousin, and I also have two versions in here. Then we will talk about the Hobonichi Weeks, which is a favorite for a lot of people. Then we are going to talk about the Hobonichi Day 3, and I have the A6 and the A5 size in here. Finally, I will show you the newest addition to my collection and my Hobonichi obsession, which is the 5-year Techo. So I will leave that to the end. So whenever we talk about Hobonichis, we are usually talking about the planners, which are the Techo. And it's easy to forget that Hobonichi is actually a more generic brand that creates daily use products. It was founded by Shigesato Itoi in 1998, the generic brand, and you have heard that name before. Yes, it is the creator of the Mother game, and he worked with Nintendo for a very long time. And I was really surprised to see that he actually was part of the creation of the Hobonichi brand. In its turn, the Hobonichi Techo was created only in 2002. That's why they are celebrating kind of 20 years of the Techo right now. Another thing that can be a little bit confusing is when you see on the internet people referring to the Tobichi stores. And Tobichi is actually the Hobonichi store in Tokyo that I had the pleasure to visit back in 2018. So I will add a photo here for you to enjoy and for me to be nostalgic and sad that we cannot travel now. This video will not be about the history of the Hobonichi and the Hobonichi Techo, but they do have all of those informations in their website, so I will link those links down below. And it is a really fun thing to do, to go look through the history of a brand we love so much and the planners that we are going to use. And it can also help us to just keep more patient waiting for the new year to come so we can start using them. Okay, it's time to start. If you want a really nice comparison graph about all the different layouts and what they have and what they don't have, I really recommend checking out the buying guide from Hobonichi, and I will also link that down below because it's a great way for you to see the layouts that I'm showing here and really figuring out if they are present in the planners that you are considering buying. The first layout I want to share with you is the yearly view because it is the one that is present in every single Hobonichi Techo that I have in here, even though it can vary a little. So here it is for the cousin. It is a huge page, an A5 page, and we have the current year, that it is the year of that planner, the previous year, and the following year. So you have like this 3-year layout that you can reference back, and it is really useful, at least I think so. You will also find that same layout in the A6 planner or the original, in the day free A6 and A5, and in the Hobonichi weeks as well. Of course, you will also find it in the 5-year Techo, but since it is 5-year, you will have a 5-year calendar layout. Moving on, we have this yearly kind of tracker thing that I don't know how to call it, but it is basically used as a tracker. You can also use it as an index, and you also have this in all of the Hobonichis but the 5-year Techo. So for this layout, we usually have at least 12 months, even in the weeks that it is really small, but you still get all the 12 months of this style of tracker. And in the A6 journals, you will have more than 12 months. Just something for you to consider and to see the differences. Usually the cousin and the weeks will start on January, and the A6 it starts on December, this style of calendar. And I really enjoy the weeks because even though it's really small, you get to see your full year, your full 12 months. So I really like using this to track projects or things that I need to keep in mind throughout the whole year. Another basic Hobonichi layout is the monthly pages, which are all together at the beginning of the planners, and you also have this for all of the planners but the 5-year Techo. Usually it starts 1 month before the actual start of the planner, and it will go up until 3 months after the end of that planner. So for example, for this Hobonichi cousin, which is an AVEC, and I will talk more about that later on, it starts on December, even though the planner starts on January, and the planner will go up until June, but the calendar will go up until July. However, if we look at a full book, this is my Hobonichi Techo original that I'm already using, so I do apologize for all the decorations. The monthly calendar will go from December as well, but it will go up until March of 2022, so it will go 3 months further than the actual end of the planner, which goes up until December next year. One thing to keep in mind here, and I do not want to do a very in-depth comparison about the two, they deserve a video just talking about their difference, but just regarding the monthly view, there are differences between the planner, which is the English version, and the Hobonichi original or the AVEC in the A6. So you will see that the Japanese version has the weekends kind of highlighted in different colors with this gray and this red color right here, and the planner does not have that, just the Sundays are written, the dates are written in a red ink, so just keep that in mind. Going back to my cousin, because the cousin has almost all the spreads, all the layouts of the Hobonichis, so it's a great starting point. I want to talk about the weekly layouts. So you will find a weekly layout both on the cousin and of course on the weeks, hence the name weeks, but they are quite different. So for the cousin size, we have columns with all the different dates and a space right here that you can use for notes or to-dos or whatever you like. And in the Hobonichi weeks, we have all the days of the week in the left side of the page, and then in the right side we only get a graph paper that you can use however you want. You can also buy a weekly supplement for the A6 size. I haven't used one of those for 2017, but it was too small for me, but I will add a picture right here so you can see how that looks, just in case you want an A6 size but with a weekly option. That's what you can do because the A6 planners do not come with a weekly view. Moving on, we have the daily layouts, and these will be the same for both the cousin size and the original or the planner, even though we can see some difference in coloring and the size of the grids, but they are daily dated pages and you won't have that for the weeks or for the day free. The 5-year Techo will also have daily pages, but they are very different. It almost looks like the weeks weekly layout, as you can see here, but instead of days of the week, you have days for each of the 5 years that are from that journal, but we will go back to that later on at the end of this video. But I just want to share you that this is another possibility for daily spreads or daily layouts that you can see in the Hobonichi Techo. Another classic Hobonichi layout is the notes pages, and of course you can find them at the end of your planners. So for the cousin and the original, we have these graph notes pages at the end of the planners. For the planner version, which is the English version, we have some dotted notes pages at the back. And for the day free and the weeks, we have numbered notes pages. So maybe this will be useful for you if you are considering using your planner as a bullet journal style and you need an index. The page numbers can be really helpful. Moving on to the A6 planners, here they are, and I will start with the original and then move on to the planner. So the original Hobonichi Techo can come in a full year book from January to December of the specific year that you are buying it, or it can come in the avec version, which is the same book divided into 2 books, if that makes sense. So you have the first one from January to June and the second one from July to December of that specific year, and if you combine them you can see that they will give you the full year as the full book. Before sharing with you a flip through of all of these planners, I just want to go through the specifications because they are basically the same for both planners. The graph size for both of these planners will be the same. It will be 3.7 millimeters for almost all of the planner, but the monthly pages, which are 3.45 millimeters, so they are a little bit smaller, and that's something for you to consider if you have really huge handwriting. Maybe you will need to go through 2 graphs, 2 lines of graphs instead of just the one, or you need to skip some lines for you to keep more organized, so do keep that in mind. Okay, time to flip through the original first because it is my first love and I think it was the first Hobonichi as well, and it is my true love, so we will start here. Keep in mind that I already have things in here, as I already told you. So we have these first pages that you of course cannot see anything because it's full of stickers, so let me just move on, but it just says here Hobonichi Techo original, or it used to say, and it has the little Hobonichi icons. Then we have the yearly view layouts that I already talked about before, and here we have 3 years, so the current year, the previous and the following year as well. Then we have that little graph or tracker yearly view that we have in the A6 with 4 months at a time, 4 months for spread. So it will start on December and it will go up until March of the following year. So in this case, March of 2022. After that, we have the monthly layouts, and it will go from December until March of 2022 as well, and they are all the same. After the monthly view, we get the turning the page to a new year spread, which could also have been featured in my Hobonichi layouts, but I decided to show you now. It is just a 2-page spread where you can write down your affirmations for the year to come, or main tasks, or things that you want to accomplish, or whatever you want. It's just graph paper in this case. Then at the beginning of each month, we will have a page just for that month. It's kind of a cover page for that month. And then we will start in the daily pages. And for the original and the avec, which are the Japanese versions of the planners, each month will correspond to a specific color. So every single page will be in that specific color. In the Japanese version, you will find some kanji. I do believe this is kanji. Please correct me if I'm wrong, for special days in the Japanese calendar. So for example, here we have this one. At the 1st of January, we also had one, and here as well for February 11th. This is the basic layout of a daily page in the Hobonichi original. You have all the graphs, and on top here you have 5 little checkboxes that you can use to mark down maybe the main tasks for the day. Here at the left side we have an hourly thing right here that goes from, you can use this from maybe 4 a.m. until 4 a.m. as well. And right here you have a little darker line separating that part from the part with the checklist. So usually people use these to schedule things, and the right side to do all their tasks for the month, but you can easily ignore all of that, which is what I usually do when I'm journaling. At the bottom of the page, you will get these little quotes, which I really enjoy, even though I cannot read them. But of course, this is all in Japanese, the same with the avec version. Then at the end of the planner, you will find 15 what they call memo pages or notes pages, and they are just simple graph pages. After that, you have a timetable and a graph paper with a space for you to create a graphic, and you have 2 of those. Then you have a favorite spread that I never really use, but it's kind of nice to have it here. You can separate it by book or movie or music or food or shopping or maybe event, and you can even rate them with 5-star in a 5-star system, which is quite nice. Maybe for next year I will use this. And you have 4 pages for that, or 2 full spreads. Then you have my 100 list, which is something that I really enjoy, and the one that I like using the most is the one from the A6, because you have more space in here than even in the cousin, because here you have 2 full pages of just that 100 list, so a full spread. Then we are going to have a lot of Japanese pages that I cannot talk about because I do not understand Japanese, and also I don't want this video to be super long. You have a spread for gift ideas and also addresses and personal notes, and that will be it for this little planner. The avec will be very similar, but it will change just the number of months and the number of those tracker pages that we have, so I won't waste a lot of time showing you all the other things. Here at the beginning it will say Hobonichi Techo 2021 original, but you will have this avec addendum here showing you what it is. And same with the calendar. We will also start on December having these tracker pages. It's also 4 for each spread, and it will go up until March of 2022 as well, so all the same. The difference here will be for the monthly spreads, which will go from December until July for the first half of the avec, and for the second half of the avec it will go from June to January of the following year, 2022. After that, you will have again the turning the page to a new year spread, and you will have that on both halves of the avec, on both books. But then the first book will move already into January, and the second book you will have this little graph paper before entering July. The daily pages will be just the same. You will also have the first monthly cover page and then the daily pages with the same layout and the quotes at the bottom, so I'm not going to show you that. And at the end of the first book you get 2 memo pages, what they call memo pages, and of the second book you don't have any of those memo pages or notes pages, so it goes directly to the timetable and then it will be all the same. We are done with the original. Now let's move on to the planner, which is basically the original but in an English version. So as you can see here from a more clear page 1, the covers are different. For the planner we have this almost like faux leather feeling, and the original is a cardboard. The inside will be different as well. For the original we have this cream color, and for the planner we will have a more grayish color. I won't keep comparing them a lot because I think that deserves a separate video, as I already told you. So let's move on. It will be basically all the same, but the colors will be different. The yearly view will actually only have 2021 and 2022, so you won't have the previous years as in the other planners. The tracker page will also start on December and you will have 4 months per spread, and it will also go up until March of 2022. Then we are entering the monthly pages, and you will also have from December of 2020 up until March of 2022. So you get 1 month from the previous year and 3 of the following year. Then we have the turning the page to a new year, but the graph size of the planner is a little bit bigger, so that's something for you to consider if you have bigger handwriting. It is actually 4 millimeters instead of 3.7 as in the original planner. After that you will also have a cover page for the month, but this one you will have lines. I don't know if you can see them. And then you enter the daily pages, which are very different from the original because you won't have that line dividing into 2 sides of each page. You will only have the 12 mark here for the hourly part, and you will have kind of these fork and knife here reminding you of maybe your meals. You will also not have those check boxes in here at the beginning of the planner. At the bottom of the page you will have the quotes, but this time they are in English, which I think is really nice because I really love the Hobonichi quotes. This planner do not have a different color for each month. It's all this dark gray color, almost black, but Sundays are in red, as you can see in here. At the end we have dot grid, red dot grid pages, and you have 18 of those memo pages as they call them. After the notes section you will have an important contact page, international size charts, conversion table, again the My 100 list, also in 2 spreads, in 2 pages in 1 spread. The Japanese bread shop, which is basically talking about different types of Japanese bread, which I think it's quite interesting. And personal notes, so you won't have that my favorite or the gift section as you have in the original, and you won't have all those Japanese pages. And that's the end of this book. Let's move on to the cousin size, and I will just go through the avec version, which is next year version, but the full year version will be basically the same as the A6 original that I just showed you, but it will also have weekly pages as well. So this is the first half of the cousin avec. And this is how it looks on the beginning. It says avec in here at the beginning of the planner. You have a 3-year spread for 2021, 2020, and 2022. Then you have that tracker page that here we will have 6 months per spread. And it will start at January of the year of the book. And it will go up until December of that same year for the first half. And for the second half, it will go from July of the year until June of the following year. So you have 6 extra months on each book. After that, we have the monthly views that will start for the first half on December as well, and it will go up until July of that same year. And again, the second half will go from June until January of the following year. Same as in the original AVEC. After that, we have our weekly pages, and it will begin at the first week of the month of the start of that cousin. So here we have the first week of January, and for the AVEC, the second half of the AVEC, we will have the first week of July. The weekly pages are marked with this gray border right here, so you can easily see them on the side. Only after the weekly view is that we are getting that turning the page to a New Year spread, which is just the same, but now it's bigger. One thing to note here is that the graph size will be just the same as the original, the Japanese version, so it will be 3.7 millimeters for each graph on the daily pages and 3.45 millimeters for the monthly views. So even if you are getting an A5, a bigger book, the graph size, it will still be the same, even though it looks bigger. After that, it's just the same as the original, so I won't keep showing you every single thing. You have a cover page for the month, and then your daily pages with checkbox right here, our hourly thing right here on the left side, and you also have that kanji for special days, but they are not all over the page, they are here at the bottom part of the page, and you also have a Japanese quote at the bottom. For the memo pages, as they called, you will have 8 for the first book and 4 for the second half of the year, and for the full book you will have 6 memo pages. After that, you have your timetable, and here you have 2 options, then that graph paper, then your favorite pages, then your 100, which is only just in the one spread. That's why I say it is smaller than the A6. Then you have all those Japanese pages as well, with a gift section and addresses and your personal notes. And that's it. Here's the Hobonichi weeks that we will consider right now. This is the cover I chose for this year. They have a couple of different covers. They have the sneaker version, which is kind of a bookish cover, like a paperback. They also have the hardcover, which is this one is kind of a hardcover, and a soft cover as well. So I know there are a lot of options out there, so feel free to leave any questions. But the one that I have is the regular weeks. And for the weeks, we have basically 2 versions, the regular and the mega. And I will be talking more about that difference when I consider the notes pages. So one thing that is very characteristic of the weeks, we have a couple of them, and that's why people love the weeks so much. And I have a video already talking about just the Hobonichi weeks that I will link up here and down in the description box. But the pages are a cream color, and I really enjoy that, but I know that's a big deal for some people, and that's a deal breaker as well. So that's something for you to keep in mind. We also have that same yearly, we have 3 years at a glance. We have the current year, the last year, the past year, and the following year as well. Then we have that yearly view that I already talked about, that we have this kind of tracker spread, but for the weeks we are able to have the full year, the 12 months in just the one spread. Then we go straight ahead to the monthly views, and it also starts on December, and it also goes up until March of the following year as the original version. And everything is fine with the page. I almost ripped off. Don't worry about it. After that, we do not have an turning the page to a new year spread. So we go straight ahead to the weekly views. And what's exciting about the weeks is that it actually starts at the end of November, or better, at the first week of December. So you have the December month not only on the monthly views or the tracker page, but you also have that already on your planner. So it's usually the first planner I start using, which is quite exciting. As I already showed you, we have on the left side of the page all the days of the week, and at the bottom we have quotes that can be just in the one page or go through the 2 pages. At the right side of the page we just have some graph paper, and here we also have the monthly calendar. It will be the way throughout the whole book, and it's also all gray, so you won't have a specific color for each month, but all Sundays will be in a red color, and also holidays, Japanese holidays usually. So the last week of the weeks will be the last week of December, which will go up until the 2nd of January of 2022. And then here we have just one of the regular memo page from that week, and after that we go to the notes section, which is what will be different from the regular weeks, which is the one that I have, and the weeks mega that I told you at the beginning of this section. So here you have just the one spread with a kind of bullet journal index. For this version of the weeks we have 71 notes pages here at the back, and for the mega version you have 215 pages at the back, so a lot of pages for you to use as a bullet journal. The graph size from the weeks is even smaller than the original, and the cousin it is 3.55 millimeters, so it's very small, so keep that in mind if you have a bigger handwriting. The note section is numbered, which is something really cool if you are planning on using an index, or if you are planning on using this as a bullet journal, so you will very easily find everything. After that we have this kind of measurement page. It's all in Japanese, but I think this one can be functional because you can more or less guess everything. Here we have a ruler that it is in centimeters. Then we have a couple of Japanese pages, a lot of them, and we also have this section, which is probably for addresses, but this time is everything in Japanese. There is no indication in English, and also the same with the personal notes right here. It's all in Japanese, and you have the 100 page that I just skipped, but it is right after that measurement page right here as well, and you have quite a nice space to write every single item. That's it for the weeks for now. Before moving on to the day 3 and the 5-year Techo, I just want to mention that all the planners I mentioned so far also have a spring version that is launched at February at their spring launch, and it starts in April. The monthly usually starts on March, and it will go up until the following year, so it's quite a nice thing if you are an academic. I know a lot of people love the spring version as well, so if you missed the launch, or if you won't be able to buy one to start right away at January, there's always the February launch, so stay calm, you can still have a Hobonichi for next year. We are now moving on to the day 3, and I won't be talking a little bit about the specifications because it's basically the same graph size and everything. It's the same as the original and the cousin, so I won't be wasting your time. It's 3.7 millimeters for everything and 3.45 for the monthly view. Oops. So you will have the 3 years here as well. You will have the same as the regular cousin for this tracker page, and you will have up until December of next year. Then you will have the monthly pages that will start on December, and it will go up until March of 2022 as well. Then you won't have any weekly pages. You will go directly to daily pages, and I'm doing this air quotes right here just because they are not dated, but they are numbered as well, which is something they added this year. And here you can use it as a bullet journal style, or you can use for class notes or whatever you want. You don't have any specific dates. So you have a dated section here at the beginning, and then you just have notes pages. They will both have 171 pages in total, with this little fox that it's super fun to see the fox dancing. And in total, the A6 version has 240 pages. The A5 has 224 pages, so it has a little bit less pages, but maybe because it's the A6 is smaller, that there are spreads that they need to divide into 2 pages and not just the one. So I'm also going to show you very briefly the things that you have at the end of the book. So after the notes section for the A6, you will move on to the graph paper, and for the A5 to the timetable. Here you have 2 options, and then they are kind of exchanged. So then on the other page you have the 2 spreads for the timetable for the A6, and then here you have the graph paper for the cousin. You will also have those favorite pages that you also have 2 full spreads for the A6 and just the 1 spread for the cousin. You also had that 100 page, and as you can see for the cousin we have only just the 1 page, and for the Hobonichi A6 we have 2 full pages, and that's why we have more space to write in each of those. And then you will have a lot of those Japanese pages. They are a little bit different than the planners, so that's fun if you know how to read in Japanese. You also have a gift session and addresses and personal notes, and that's it for the day 3. Finally, we are going to flip through the A5 Techo. Here I have the A6 version, but the A5 will be pretty much the same. If I find a video of someone sharing their overview, I will link that down below. I'm pretty sure the Vegan Organizer has a really good video showing her A5 Techo, 5-year Techo. So this is the cover. It comes with a kind of Bible cover, which is interesting. You can definitely use it like this, but I will be using with a cover for next year. And mine goes from 2021 to 2025, so 5 years. This is how it looks on the inside. It has this more cream color, which is really pretty. The pages are also more cream, and let me compare with the wicks for you to see. Maybe the wicks are even more creamer than the A5, but I think both are the same, so they are not white pages. So this is how it looks. It says Hobonichi Techo and the years that your Techo is all about. Then you won't have a spread with 3 years as the other ones. You will have a spread for each of the 5 years that you are going to be using your planner. After that, you go straight ahead to the daily pages, and as I already showed you, you will have on the left side a little space for each day from each year. So you will have a day for 2021, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And at the right side of the page, you will have just graph paper and a quote at the bottom, so you can use it however you like. There is no cover page for the month or anything. It just goes right away into the yearly daily spreads. There is no specific color for each month. As you can see here in the spine is all gray, and you don't even have red for Sundays or holidays, so it's all kind of in a gray scale, which is fine. At the back, at the very end, instead of having notes pages, you actually have a page for each year, so you can maybe write down highlights of that year or maybe resolutions. I'm not sure how I'm going to use these. And here at the back it says bookmark, and it has like a darker gray line here. I'm not sure how I'm going to use this, so I'm just going to show you. And you will have that for the 5 years of the book as well. You also have a spread that says remember this, and it is just the 1 page. Then you do have those gift ideas, the address page, and instead of that 100 lists, you get something called My Lists, and you have 8 sections of 10 items each that you can write lists. I'm not sure how I'm going to use this because you cannot use for each of the years. I have no idea. If you know how to use this, please leave a comment down below. And you also have those funny Japanese pages at the back and personal notes at the very end of the planner. And that's it for the 5-year Techo. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I actually hope it was a little bit helpful for you. Let me know if there's something you want to see, a more close view, a more in-depth view, and I will happily make a video for you whenever I have the time. And thank you again for everything and for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.